What's going on, guys? Unknown Player here, and today once again we're back with some more Destiny 2 topics to round up and discuss. So there's actually been a catalyst quest step for an exotic. Up until now, no one's known how to get it. It's been a complete mystery, and everyone's been trying to figure out how to actually get this thing to unlock. But it's actually just been solved, so we're going to be going over what that is and how you get it. I also wanted to talk a bit about escalation protocol, which in itself is a very strange activity. There's definitely a lot of mixed opinions, but I want to give some tips and also my thoughts on it, my experiences, and also answer a lot of questions I've seen. On top of that, there is actually some returning Destiny 1 content, which I think most people are actually happy about this time, as well as some more miscellaneous bits and pieces of news and stuff like that. So quite a mixed bag of different topics I want to discuss inside this video. Of course, if you want to support this channel, then hit the like button down below, helps out a ton. And of course, with that being said, let's jump into the first topic. So let's begin talking about the brand new exotic sword, the World Line Zero, currently the only sword in the game that's exotic. Now, the first step of its catalyst isn't a secret. We've known how to get it, so simply get kills with the sword. You can be in patrol or strikes, or kill some random thralls, any enemy. Eventually, it's going to drop for you the actual catalyst. Now, it's the next step after that, which is the mystery. That's what the entire community has been stuck on, and nobody had a single clue how to get it. Now, the person to figure out this particular mystery is someone called Brendan, or Brandon with a V. So again, people have tried literally everything you can imagine with this sword to try and figure out how to get the drop. These strangest things you can think of, people have done it to see if it's what was required. But as it turns out, the real answer of what to do with the sword, as discovered by Brandon, is actually to hit the final boss of Escalation Protocol with the kind of power-up move of the sword. That's when you sprint and you press R2 and then it charges you forward and kind of teleports you a little bit. You simply need to perform that move and hit the boss with it, do a bit of damage. You don't need to kill him or like take down shield or do anything fancy. And now the twist is that 20% is the only progression you're going to get for quite a while. So you can't just rapidly hit the boss multiple times or do the encounter over and over again. That 20% is done. But when you hit each boss, it's going to give you a small item to basically confirm you've done it. Of course, in addition to 20% bonus, you're actually going to get a little item. So there are, of course, 5 of these in total, and it appears one you get from this week's boss is called Worldline Ideathesia Anarchia. There's a second one called Worldline Ideathesia Cavalry, and then a third one called Factura and Black Square, and also Torsion. Each time you do it with the sword, of course, a charge up attack, it's going to give you one of these 5 items, each one 20%, and eventually you get 100%, and eventually you get the catalyst done. Now, there is also a video of someone doing this in action, so you can see firsthand it does work. This is a GIF video from someone called Cobb Blooddrunk, and you can see he takes down the boss's shield with the Crota sword. Obviously, you have to do that first to take down a shield so you can damage him. Then he goes in with Worldline Zero and does a bit of damage and gets the item. Now, you're probably thinking, wow, that sounds like a lot of work for just one upgrade. What does the catalyst even do? So honestly, it doesn't sound that fantastic. It seems pretty average, but it's basically a new perk on top of the weapon for free called Another Dimension. Reduces the activation time of Tesseract, so it basically means you can run for a short amount of time before the Tesseract is available and you do the sword swipe. I mean, this is hands down, not even close, the most difficult exotic catalyst in the entire game. Like, to get to wave 7 5 weeks in a row and hit every boss and have a team that's willing to let you run up to the boss and hit it. Because let's be honest, you're very likely to actually fail that attempt. I mean, during the damage phase, obviously heavy is very important, one of the best ways to do damage. So if you're wasting that on a sword, you're doing pretty much nothing. So I think the sheer inconvenience of having to do this 5 weeks in a row and 5 different bosses should be a much better upgrade. I mean, I think it's part of a bigger problem. I think swords in general in Destiny 2 really suck and they need to be so much better. Something feels off about swords, coming from someone who exclusively used them in Destiny 1. Honestly, if you ask me, Bungie needs to just double the ammo swords have and like double the damage. I see no problem with that. Bungie can, of course, independently balance how much ammo a sword gets in Crucible, but I see no reason at all why swords shouldn't be crazy good in PvE, at least as good as they were in Destiny 1. So it is a very cool way to unlock it, but I don't think the grind of doing this 5 weeks in a row on 5 different bosses is anywhere near the reward of simply getting a quicker cooldown of the actual Tesseract perk. This also does go to show the extent of how sneaky some of these secrets are in the game. So imagine the Black Spindle, it could be something in game right now that it requires something this weird and strange to do, or it could just be time gated, but if they're willing to make something this strange and sneaky for a sword upgrade, imagine what they're going to do with Black Spindle. It's going to be very tricky and pretty weird. But either way, a big mystery relating to this exotic has finally been solved. Of course, let me know your thoughts down below and how many of you guys can be trying to get yourself. But that is how to get the Worldline Zero exotic catalyst. So moving on, we're going to talk about Escalation Protocol itself, which is a very strange activity. There's definitely a lot of mixed opinions because there are some ways it's good and also some ways it definitely needs a lot of improvement. But I've completed it a few times myself and want to give you guys my thoughts on it, my impressions, and also some tips and of course gameplay on how to actually do the thing. So let's talk about the 9 players thing. Why is that a thing and how do you even get to do that in the first place? So the simple answer is that you do pretty much need to cheese the game or exploit the matchmaking mechanics. But with that being being said, it is an exploit that Bungie fully intend you to do in order to complete this mode. Maybe I'm wrong and some will manage to do it somehow, but I genuinely do not think there is any legit way, without cheating or kind of exploiting, to get 3 players at 385 and beat Wave 7. I don't think it's possible. Like, I fully get that Bungie wanted to make something that's hard, but I think there's a difference between being hard and just simply inaccessible and nearly impossible to a lot of people. Like, it's not difficult, it's just some people physically don't even know how do you get 9 players in one instance. Now, you can do this in pretty much 2 ways, which are both very kind of finicky and annoying and kind of tricky to pull off. The first way is to get you and a friend or 2 other friends to go into Mars and go back and forth in the zones until eventually you match each other, which could happen first try or could take you hours to do and a lot of fails. I believe if you get 2 friends that live close to each other, like if both of you live in London, it may have a better chance of kind of zoning you together. The second way is even more difficult and complicated, but this requires 3 different people, 3 of your friends, to go into 3 different instances of Mars. And then you find a random person running around in patrol with the blue names, you call them blueberries, and you message them asking them to invite your friend and then them to back out so another friend can join. So you can see why a lot of people are very frustrated and just confused why this is a thing, why you have to do these steps in order to complete an activity in the game. I mean, obviously the game can handle 9 players in one zone, so why not let people easily join each other? You should just be able to load 9 people or 6 people at least into patrol, and that would make it a lot easier. So obviously Bungie are aware of it. It's been one of the biggest complaints, so I'm not sure what they're going to do about it. I do get the feeling they're probably going to make it just a lot easier so you can do it with like 3 or maybe 6 people, because I'm sure they know this activity and all the hype for it is going to die very soon if they don't make it an accessible way to actually play it. I mean, if you think about it, a lot of people have a problem getting just 6 players together for one raid, let alone getting 9 players together and then doing all this weird matchmaking stuff, which could take an hour. So I get the feeling Bungie are going to do something about it soon, but I'm not sure what the solution will be. And I can definitely imagine in the future, we're going to look back on Escalation Protocol and be like, remember how difficult it was to actually get people together. Now, in terms of a super quick rundown of how you do the activity itself, first off, subclasses you're going to need. So a tether, of course, with Orpheus Rig, melting point sunbreakers, tractor cannon, never thought I'd say that, but tractor cannon is very, very good. Also void walkers, and for this week, with the boss with the shield, 100% you have to have a sentinel with a bubble. For this, the minimum I'd recommend is 370 because the final wave 7, the bosses are actually 400, so whatever you do, they're going to be way above your light level. I think if you're below 360, you can't even damage any of the enemies in the entire wave 7, so you definitely need to be around 370. On wave 7, obviously the enemies are difficult, but the mechanics for this week, the night boss, is actually pretty simple. He is literally the opposite of Crota, so instead of your bullets taking down a shield and the sword of Crota taking down his health, it's the opposite. So the sword takes down a shield and bullets and stuff take down his health. You all group up with swords, put a bubble next to him so you can't damage him when he's inside it. When his shield is down, you'll back up and just destroy him with everything you have. If you do this, you should get around half his health. So after that, just do it a second time. That should be enough within the time limit. Now, of course, there's a 5% chance of a weapon dropping from his body. So just simply straight up a 5% chance. So there are 5 bosses. Last week, the first one dropped the shotgun. This week is SMG. Next week is a sniper. And the 2 final bosses, they have a chance to drop all 3 weapons. Now, again, those weapons drop straight from the boss, so right at his feet. There's also a chest that spawns up top, and to open it, you need a key. So those random Rasputin key fragments you get from strikes and nightfalls, 7 of those you can turn into a key with Anna. You do 7 waves, it charges the key. You can see little arrows on it. Each one lights up and it gives you a new one. And eventually, when you get it fully charged up, it's going to drop as a legendary key. So this is what you can use to open up the chest. Inside the chest is a guaranteed piece of armor you don't have. The first time you open it, it's going to be the class item, then the boots, then the chest, and the arms and the head. So that is always the order. It doesn't matter what week you do it in. The first drop is always going to be class item, and it goes up until the head is the last one. So like I said, I'm very torn because I do love the activity. I think it's very, very good. I think it's hands down the best of all the Horde modes. So better than Archon's Forge or Court of Oryx or Prison of Elders. It's just fun having a difficult activity inside Patrol. Getting 9 players together as well is obviously fun. The bosses look cool. A lot of them are reskinned from King's Fall, but they're cool looking bosses and just cool mechanics. Also, the reward system I think is great. You can grind for something. There's also guaranteed armor drops as well. The weapons are also very, very, very good. But of course, there is the glaring issue that getting 9 players together is an absolute mess and so difficult and time consuming and simply impossible for the majority of the Destiny player base. So I think it's something they should hopefully fix soon. And if they do, it's going to be a very good activity. But that is my rundown and thoughts of Escalation Protocol. Of course, comment down below if you played it, what your thoughts on it, whether you've never played it and no, you won't because the 9 player thing, or whether you've done loads of it. I want to know what you guys think of the activity. Now, moving on to the next topic, some very, very good news for I think most people. The map Bannerfall is returning in Destiny 2. Simple as that. One of the most fan-favored Destiny 1 maps. I think it was great, one of my personal favorites. It was introduced in, I believe, the Taken King, and it's now coming back for Iron Banner next Tuesday. And of course, you can see the Red War's taking its toll on it. It's all destroyed. You can see Cabal flags there. And it was very much destroyed like a lot of the towers in the last city were. Even the old camping trees fallen over. So you can see there's a few changes, but it's going to be mostly the same. I think it really shined as a Trials map. It was very, very good for elimination. Of course, after Iron Banner next week, it's going to be put into the normal rotation for all the other maps. I'm pretty sure I said it in a video after Burning Shrine came back, but that was hands down one of my top choices for maps that should return from Destiny 1 into 2. My two picks were Bannerfall and Rusted Lands, so now I really want Rusted Lands to come back as well. Obviously, it's a very good map and well structured, but it's also very nostalgic and just kind of iconic for Destiny. Rusted Lands was the very first map I played of Destiny 1 almost exactly 4 years ago at E3 2014, and of course I want to know from you guys, what one map from Destiny 1 do you want to see in this game? Like I said before, I don't like reskins like most people, and I really don't like when exotic weapons come back or armor, but I have zero problem with Destiny 1 Crucible maps because they're just simply great arenas. They're well made, they're well designed. I mean, it's just more choice. You get more variety. Some are familiar Destiny 1 maps and some are new Destiny 2 maps. But either way, I love this map. You're probably watching some old gameplay that I dug up to see in the background. But when it was announced that Bannerfall would return, pretty much everyone I saw, like 99%, was just super happy. So let me know down below, are you happy about it? What do you think? And of course, what other map would you like to see return as well? Regardless though, I hope you all enjoyed today's video. And of course, if you did and want to support this channel, then leaving a like rating down below is massively appreciated. As always, got lots more videos on the way, so if you don't want to miss out, make sure you are subscribed if you're new to my channel. If you want to watch another Destiny 2 Warmind video from me, then you can click this image on screen right now. But as always, I appreciate you guys for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.